Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hope you are doing very well. In our last video we people have discussed about our coming session, that what the chapters that we are going to have in our next session, and furthermore we also have studied that what is science and what are the few branches of science. Clear? Now today we are having our new topic, that is about scientific method. So dear students, the first thing that I want to tell you over here, that the scientific method is actually a method which is used to solve a scientific problem through observation and experimentation, right? And if we go forward, that it is a systematic method means that it is having following steps that we have to follow, and we are bound to follow these steps, right? So the first step is observing, number two communicating, number three inferring, number four making hypothesis, number five experiment or test a hypothesis, number six results data analysis, number seven theory, and number eight law of science. uh, if I explain a bit more, that what is observing, it is actually to do observe something through your senses, through your five senses that you are having. Then furthermore, communicating means to gather the data, you can say, in the form of charts, tables, or some words through yeah, like you can say that it will a background research of your observation. Then you will infer something from your communication of and that inferring is actually the conclusion. Then for fourth step is to make a hypothesis, and in a hypothesis what we will do, that we will make a tentative explanation of our observations. Means we will observe the thing that we will observe, we will have given a brief, we will have given a tentative, a detailed explanation, and then we will formulate a hypothesis. Then to test that hypothesis we will perform an experiment. An experiment will tell us that either the work that we have done before is right or wrong. If the experiment is proved right, then it means we have made the right hypothesis, and if it is wrong, then it means we have to go back to the first step, to observe and data collection, and then to move forward for the new hypothesis and new experiment. But if the result is supports our hypothesis, then we will do the results and take the results and do the data analysis, and we will announce our results with the other scientists fellow as well. And the seventh step is theory. If the other scientists that to which you have shared your results, they have also said that yes, your experiment is right and you have done the right thing, then it will become a theory. Means that if a hypothesis is not rejected by the experimentation of other scientists, then it will become a theory. And if the for many years, if the theory survives, no one will prove it wrong, then it will become a law of science. And it's law of a science means that the phenomena that cannot be changed, that is actually you can say that is happening like that the scientist has given, so no one can change. So if a theory is surviving and never rejecting for so many years by different scientists, then it will become a law of science. We have you can say a flow chart as well on the side of the page, that if you are having a question, if you have asked a question, you will do the background research on it. If you are a scientist and following a scientific method, you will do the background research, you will construct a hypothesis on it, you will test your hypothesis by doing an experiment, you will analyze your data and draw a conclusion, you will report your results, that was your hypothesis was correct or not, right? These steps you have to follow when you are solving a scientific problem, or you can say any problem by a scientific method. Clear? Now for the detailed talk on these steps, first come on the next slide. There, it's an ongoing process, means they are interlinked. If one step you have done wrong, then whole of the process will be gone, right? So you have to carefully see that which step you are doing and what are the requirements of these steps. So they are interlinked, so you have to be very careful while performing a scientific experiment or a scientific method. So come towards the first step, that is observation. Observation means to observe something through your sensory organs or instruments. Scientists are good observers. They make careful and accurate observation with their sensory organs like nose, eyes, ear, mouth, skin. Very often they observe with the help of instrument because human senses are limited and not always reliable. Here he is saying that to observe something through your sensory organs is known as observation, right? And in instruments as well. And further he is saying that scientists are very good observation means they are not careless about their readings. So since we all know that we are having five senses, right? On these five senses you can say that nose, eyes, ear, mouth and skin are the actually sensory organs for these senses. For example, if you are having the sense of vision, we are having the sensory organs, that is eyes for that. If we are having the sense of hearing, we are having ears as a sensory organs. If we are having a sense of, you can say, taste, so we are having your tongue, and mouth as a sensory organ. Then for smell we are having nose. But at the same time he is saying that our senses are limited. For example, if you want to tell the temperature of anything, you can say that it is hot or cold, but you cannot exactly say that what is the actual temperature. So for that purpose you'd have to take the thermometer to tell the accurate reading of that one thing, right? So we, our senses are limited and we are always needing for an instrument. So next step is communication. It is actually a skill which involves transmitting and receiving information presented in various forms such as table, charts, graph, drawings, or words. Like it is similar to background research. I have told you before that to gather the data on you on the relevant topic, on the relevant observation is come under the top under the heading of communication, right? So the next one step is inferring. Inferring is actually the skill of drawing conclusion from observation or information gathered. For example, if one observed that plants kept in the dark and cannot make food, it is actually its inference. So what is inference? The conclusion that you draw by inferring is called as inference. That you have drawn from the first two step of scientific method is known as inference. Next step is making a hypothesis. Formulating or making a hypothesis is an extension of inferring. Like you have given a conclusion, now you will give a detailed statement about that, so it will be called as hypothesis. So hypothesis is a tentative explanation for an observation or a phenomena which can be tested by investigation. Next is you will perform an experiment to prove that either your hypothesis is right or wrong. So experiment is a method we decide whether your hypothesis is right or wrong. If you get the same results as your hypothesis, then your experiment is successful, means you are successful in your relevant observation. But if it is wrong, means if it proves your hypothesis wrong, then you have to go back to your first step of scientific method, means observation. Then you will again do the observation, again perform an make an hypothesis, again perform an experiment, right? And then you will gather your data. Next is, we can say that experiment, and then you can have a flow chart over there, that first you are having a question and then you will do the background research, means you will do the communication, then you will construct a hypothesis and test the hypothesis with the help of experiment, right? If your experiment, means if your procedure is working, yes, then you will analyze your data and you will form a conclusion and share it with your other fellows. It means you will communicate your results. But if your hypothesis is proven wrong, right, so you will go back to find out that where the problem was. So you will again perform an experiment, you will again construct an hypothesis, and then you will again do the experiment to have the desired data. Next is, like, it's very interesting that whenever you observe something na, it will lead to questions. It is, you can say that, always necessary, or it is always happen that whenever you will observe something, that will arise a question in your mind. And when you are having a question, and if you are a good scientist, then you will try to find out the answer of that one question. So questions form a hypothesis. If you are having a question, you will try to answer that question, you will try to solve that. So hypothesis must be tested through experimentation, and scientists always test it with the help of experimentation. You will analyze your data and then you will draw the conclusion, and then you will share the results with your other fellows, right? So if you have gone through all these steps carefully, then you will find out the answer of your problem. Then the next here is an example, a very short example to explain it more about the scientific method. This first one step is observation, right? A person has observed that he has given the soil and seeds to a plant, to grow a plant, right? So a question has come that which type of fertilizer works best. Means a person wants to grow a plant, right? Now definitely question arises that which fertilizer now I will give to my plant that it will grow faster. So he is having a three fertilizer: fertilizer A, fertilizer B, fertilizer C. So what he will do, that plants grow, he has made a judgment, a hypothesis, that plants grow with fertilizer A will grow the fastest. Right now it's hypothesis, it's not always necessary that your hypothesis is right. Then he will perform an experiment, that he will take three different plants and give the three different fertilizers to it and observe it. So you can see that in part A the plant's growth is more visible and more better. So now he has proven his hypothesis right. So it has proven that the plant with fertilizer A will have the best results. So this is the procedure to solve a problem by the help of scientific method. Hope it is clear to you more now. Next, I have told you that when you share your results with other scientists, they also perform an experiments to perform to take your hypothesis wrong or to prove you wrong. So when a hypothesis is tested many times and not rejected, it becomes a theory, right? That other scientists has also performed that experiment and they have also given the same result that you have given, so it will become a theory. And if for many years that your theory is surviving and no one can prove it wrong, then it will become a law of science. So what is law of science? That when a theory is tested again and again and survives, it becomes a law of science, right? And there are very few law of science over till now in science, that law of Henry Weinberg theorem, you can say, and Mendeleev's law of inheritance. Furthermore, that's all from my side. If you have any queries regarding this topic, then do let me know. Good luck and take care. Hope you will study more about the scientific method. Take care. Allah Hafiz.